Hey, it's Ryan with QLZ. It is another home edition of the Green Room. We're talking with Suzanne. She is the lead vocalist of a band called Magg out in Virginia still, correct?
Yeah, Virginia Beach.
I know. We've been catching up. I think we've had enough material here for about the last 25 minutes for an interview prior to this. But
All right,
I know
an interview prior to the interview.
Yes, you and I have met before over the phone with when I was up in Wausau. We were talking about Wisconsin and everything that you've been up to now. You've had government jobs, and now you're also, and it's fun to I'm glad you brought this up because you've changed careers. You are obviously the lead singer of a band, but I think it's cool that a lot of people also know that a lot of the bands that are, again, up and coming bands we want you to know more about, like the Art Spotlight and stuff. You also have day jobs that keep you very busy on top of being in a band.
You have to. I mean, for us to be an independent band and do what we do, we have to have another job. We have to have a means of income to support being an independent band. So that's one of the reasons why we appreciate the shows like yours that do the artist spotlights on bands like us, because it means so much to us. Like, we are so grateful.
I know. And you do, it's a woodworking, you said a hardwood company?
Hardwood floors.
Hardwood floors?
Yeah. Sanderparts.com.
All right.
So yeah, it's we sell all the stuff for wood flooring machines and wood floors and stuff. So yeah, it's awesome.
Awesome. And you work with your dad. What's it like working with your dad? Now, I have never really worked with any member of my family, probably because we're all Italian and we're insane, but the reason behind it. But what's it like working with family?
Oh, it's awesome. It is wonderful. So my dad is like the Phoenix. He just like rises again. So we're originally from New York. And he had a floor business in Manhattan called Manhattan Floor Supplies. And then he started this business out of like a box of parts in Wisconsin. And it's grown and grown and grown. And now here we are where there's 5 of us that are running the business, and working with my dad is wonderful. I get to bring, the best part about my job, I'm going to say this, besides working with my dad, is I get to bring my dog to work every day.
Awesome.
And your Bruce works there. Bruce is there, so it's me and Bruce. And then we have a really close knit. Here she is. Can I bring her?
Yeah, bring her up, please.
Come here, darling. There she is. There's the lady. There's the lady. There's the superstar. She always comes to visit me. As soon as she hears me get excited and start talking, she's like, "Mom."
I know we were talking before we got going, and you got excited. You're like, "Oh yes, that's right, Ryan. This is the Ryan that we talked to previously." And she came running over. She's barking, everything else. I know you're such an animal lover. I think, which is a great thing too. Like, we do a weekly adoption segment on the station, and I always think it's cool. Like, I like asking these questions too, because people get to know you as more than just a musician. They get to know things that you're passionate about, you care about. You have been a massive animal lover. I know for as long as I've known you, and we're friends on Facebook, so you can see a lot of things. So. Have you always had dogs growing up? And I believe it's bulldogs, correct?
Well, so I just started having bulldogs in 2008. Okay. Before that, I had Shih Tzus, but I've had Shih Tzus and bulldogs. So because I have allergies, so this is going to be, I'm going to talk for a really long time about this, because this is the stuff I'm passionate about. So, so I've rescued Shih Tzus, and I've had Shih Tzus ever since I was a little girl. Or my first dog was actually a Maltese, and then my second dog was a Shih Tzu Maltese, and then I had a Westie. But because I'm allergic, I haven't really had like the dogs that shed very much. The ones I had, they lived kind of like, not like, they were in the house, but not like in my room, and I couldn't have them on the furniture. But then I found this acupuncturist who helped me with my allergies. So now the bulldog, like Fluffy, she sits on my lap all the time, and all the bulldogs have been like in the house, and they're, on the, with us everywhere. But yeah, I am a huge, huge animal lover, and new in the last 4 years is bugs. Never in my life did I ever think I was going to be the person that is like working with caterpillars and worms.
Oh my gosh.
And because so the butterflies, I have butterfly habitats, and last year I released like 100 monarchs. So awesome. I have all the swamp milkweed, and I have these habitats. So we went on tour. What's fun, I can tie the band into this. We went on tour, and I have a roommate, and we went on tour, and I had 30 caterpillars in like 3 different habitats. And I had purchased milkweed, and I'm like, okay, so when you see the leaves are gone, I need you to put the new milkweed in the habitat and just make sure that they're okay, because, you have to make sure that they have enough food. You can't leave them in a habitat without enough food. So, and they went into chrysalis, and they were gone. No, a lot of them stayed until I got home, which was kind of really cool that I got to see them fly away. But yeah, that was a little bit of an added stress because I had to be gone like in the critical stage of their growth and when they're like super hungry and I'm having to put all these milkweed plants in. But yeah, no, super big animal lover and now bugs. And even like I move spider. Well, I've always been a person that I don't like to kill spiders.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But yeah, the whole like caterpillar and like actual worms that are on the ground, like I pick them up and move them to the grass when I see them. Like it's just gone a little too far.
Yeah, that's all right. Hey, that's all right. You're out there loving. Are you going to take the caterpillars on tour next time? Are you trying to get this over with the band where it's like, hey, if it becomes a really critical thing next time, are you going to put a little habitat in the van or the RV or whatever you guys go around in and have your own little habitat with you?
We always do an RV because we bring Fluffy.
Yep.
So that is a really good idea.
Okay.
And I'm not exactly sure how everybody would feel about that because that would take up quite a bit of space. But I'm pretty sure I could work it out.
All right. You can blame if the rest of the guys don't like it in the band. You can just blame me and be like, Ryan had this really, really cool idea. What do you think about it? And like, he's playing our music, so it's like don't get too upset with him.
Exactly. But you know what I do have? If you ever, I have like one of the videos. I hate to talk about Spotify on a radio station, but I have it as one of the video backgrounds, like one of those things where it's the butterfly coming out.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's really cool because I sped up one of the videos because I've done the time lapses when they're coming out of the chrysalis and like forming into a butterfly. It's amazing.
That's awesome. I love it. Now, speaking of actual music, again, you guys are touring everything else. You guys have a song called Repeat, which is on the Artist Spotlight this Friday. It's also going to be added to our new music show this Saturday.
Thank you
as well. So we'll have you guys spin it on there every week for a little while. What do you, I think I asked you last time, like, what's the meaning behind the song? I'm kind of asking people now, what do you want listeners and fans to know about this song? Like what's important about this song to you?
The most important thing about this song to me is finding your power. So it's one of those songs where it's kind of like when something fails, whether or not it's leaving a job, it's leaving a relationship. It's one of those things where it's, and then, basically standing on your own and saying, will you repeat after me? And, that's kind of what it is for me. And all the words, if you listen to it, it was, it's kind of one of those things where somebody kind of like, they overwhelm and they love bomb and they're like, look, this is great. I love you. This is wonderful. And then all of a sudden it's not. And then finding that power and kind of standing up and being like, did you learn your lesson? Like, because usually when you're in that kind of a relationship where you're being replaced, you've been replaced before.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of like realizing like, yeah, go ahead. Good luck. Try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. It's good. It's a strong song from all of you. And again, what I like about your voice, it's like, you've got this voice that could fit, I think, in a lot of different genres. Then all of a sudden you scream and it's like, no, she belongs with us in rock and metal.
I know. It's so funny because we always kind of describe us as like almost like Taylor Swift meets, metal, because I do have that more Britney-ish, whatever, that pop style or almost a vocal, but I scream. I can't help it. I've been screaming since I was a little girl playing with Barbies. I don't know if we talked about that last time because a lot of people asked me, where'd I get the growl? And it was when I was playing with Barbies when I was a little girl, I used to make this like, whoa, and I used to find that vocal fry and I just played with that vocal fry.
And then did you actually hurt your voice as a kid doing that before you actually learned how to scream? Because I know like a lot of my friends, they're not as into hard rock and metal as I am. And they're like, well, how are their voices not, shredded by the end of the night? I'm like, well, a lot of it's from your gut and everything else. So like, did you ever have that? Like when you first started screaming, did you hurt your throat at first or did you kind of learn right away the proper way to scream?
I kind of learned the proper way to scream by sheer luck. Because I started with the vocal fry. Honestly, it's because I was little playing with Barbies and trying to make like a power sound. You know what I mean? So I had my Barbie like fighting and I had my Barbie like kind of doing this scream. And it was just, so it was like a really low volume, but a very deep tone. Okay. And it was literally sheer luck. So and then I started taking vocal lessons, as I was trying to sing, because I wanted to learn the proper techniques and not, and I was having a hard time. And I was like, man, this is really hard for me. Cause I was like trying to sing Alanis and like some of those really big, powerful songs. And I was like, this is really hard for me. I better take some lessons and figure out how to do this.
Have you seen the Barbie movie? Since you've mentioned Barbie a couple of times, have you seen the movie?
I have seen it 3 times
Okay.
in the theater.
Oh my gosh. You just kept going back. Did you take Bruce with you? Did you make Bruce go with you?
I did. I
Did
did.
you? Okay.
I did. I made him go once. I made him go
Okay.
once. The other 2 times I went with girls. But yes,
Okay.
I loved that movie so much. I just loved it. And that's what, somebody said to me when we opened for Ace Frehley, I think not February 23. One of his band members, he's like, it's like Wednesday fronting Lamb of God. You know what I mean? He started, I was like, oh my God, that's hysterical. I have to tell people that because that's a really funny explanation. But yeah, so I've always been Barbie goth though. That's me. I've always been like pink goth.
There you go. Awesome. I love it. Obviously, like I said, repeats the new song, Friday Artist Spotlight for you guys out on the East Coast, 9:30 a.m., 8:30 a.m. for us here in Central Time. Now, the music video, because I watched the music video this morning, I usually try to make sure I watch it the day of doing interviews, so I feel that I have a decent grasp on what is going on. And just kind of reading between the lines on some of the description of the music video, it seemed there was a lot of thank yous. You gave a ton of thank yous to people.
Yes.
So it seems like there's a rather maybe intricate story behind this music video, or maybe it seemed to take a little bit of time.
It did take a little bit of time. The thank yous for our production people and of course our band, and we shot it in our new warehouse right before we moved in. So it was, the warehouse was completely empty, which was amazing. And it was a long day. It was a really long day of shooting, and on concrete, when you're pounding out and you're doing the song over and over and over for hours, and it's such a high energetic song, like it's hard work. but yeah, no, we do love the song. We love the power of the song, and the video to me was amazing. Hayden, who is one of our fans become friends, she is an amazing actress, and I'm sure her performance in that video to me was just mind-blowing. She was so incredible, and she's one of the girls, if you ever saw, like a long time ago, we had a show at Elevation 27 in Virginia Beach where I'm handing the microphone to her and she's singing, and there's a really great photo of that. So I have to kind of like maybe dig that photo out from someone because she always knows the words, and I will always hand her the words on Delusional, which was a song you played of ours before. So
yeah, people need to check that music video out as well, because I remember we talked about that, because I'm like, your drummer's wearing a Seven Dust t-shirt, and I'm like, all right, I like the song, but this makes me like this band even more. The drummer's wearing a Seven Dust t-shirt, so this band's even cooler in my book now because of that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So what's the rest of the year look like? I know you and I talked a little bit too. You said the singles game is what the band is doing. It's kind of what a lot of bands, I think, are embracing. I think there's part of it. Maybe bands are being forced to do this in a way. Some of them are really embracing it as well, because it's just kind of the world that we live in for right now. So what does it look like the rest of this year with releasing some music?
Probably 3 more singles this year.
Okay. Awesome.
3 more singles, because we have one that we're going in the studio in 2 weeks.
Okay. Awesome.
So we have another single that we haven't released from the last year when we were in the studio. And then we probably have 3 more that are coming this year. So it's a lot. Yeah. We're really busy. We work really hard. And we're going to put them on an album. We're going to make it up, because everybody keeps asking, when are you guys going to press these songs onto a CD? And I'm like, we'll do it.
Yeah. Do you like this is what I've been asking some bands too and getting their opinions on, because obviously I'm not in a band. So who better to ask than the people that are actually making the music and doing this? I think, a lot of your singles lately, they all have music videos with them. So I feel like bands have been able to, take a single, give it a lot of love and respect it kind of deserves. So have you enjoyed, the singles game and to be able to kind of put as much effort into just one song and focus on that for a little while?
I do. I really do love the singles game. It's a lot of work. But I feel like each song gets a really good shot at exposure and reaching people, because every song that we write is always so emotional. And so even though I don't really feel like we're very much an emo band, but we, you know what I mean? All the songs have so much emotion and they mean so much to me personally, because all of them are always based on something real, like something that's really happening. And I like being able to get that out to everybody. So I do really like the singles game, because then I don't feel like, so I felt like on Amethyst, we had some really great songs that got left behind.
Yeah.
And that's why I really do love the singles game.
And like I said, I know people want the album. You guys have done the album. So Amethyst came out in 2020, like a month before COVID kind of shut everything down. It was the perfect timing.
I know.
I don't know how many there's so many bands I interviewed like at that time where it was like 2 weeks later, it's like, oh God, we can't go and do anything. We just released an album. Like, what are we supposed
Tours canceled. Bye.
Yeah, it sucked. Speaking of tours, you guys have some shows coming up as well. I know, what are you able to say when it comes to shows this year? Obviously, again, you all have day jobs, and and your vacation time and your off time is put towards writing, recording, video, doing videos, things. But I know you guys have some very, very cool shows coming up as well.
We do. We are opening for Norma Jean and Bad Wolves on May 12th in Virginia Beach. And then we are opening for Raw on June 8th in Virginia Beach. So we took 2 shows really close together in Virginia Beach, which we usually try not to play our local market, that often, but we are, because we could, those are amazing shows. And then we are doing Summer Bash in Indiana in July. So we are planning on doing some shows around that. So we're hoping to hit Illinois while we're out there. So I'll make sure exactly what date we're going to be there.
Awesome. I'd love that. And if it's nearby, I'd love to come out and see all of you. Suzanne, I don't know if I had you do this for me last time. It was a blog post. It was called Favorite Fives. It was your favorite complete albums of all time. I can't remember if I had you do this right up for me or not. And I know one of your answers already, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Your favorite no skip, your favorite complete albums of all time. And I'm sure I know the number one on your list.
All right. I'm going to have you guess. What is it?
Jagged Little Pill.
Of course.
You and John Connolly of Seven Dust are huge Jagged Little Pill fans.
Oh, I did not know that. I will have to, if I meet him or when I meet him, I will have to mention that, because that is legit.
Yeah, he did this. It's funny because like we play You Ought to Know we have a 90s Nooner segment here on QLZ, and it's the only Alanis song that we play on the station, but it is on our 90s Nooner. And we had somebody message us once and be like, really, you're playing this? And I said, well, John Connolly of Seven Dust, Jagged Little Pill is one of his favorite 5 complete albums of all time. And he's like, seriously? I said, yeah, like Master of Puppets was next to it, but still, I mean, Jagged Little Pill was on there. So I knew that'd be one for you, because I remember the band has covered You Ought to Know.
Yes, we have covered You Ought to Know, and we still close with it. That's still our close.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, people love that song. They absolutely love it. And it's funny because it just got spin somewhere recently. But yeah, I know it's we love doing that cover. But yes, that's one of my favorite albums of all time. And then number 2 would probably be Rumors by Fleetwood Mac.
Okay.
And then number 3 would be The Wild Heart by Stevie Nicks.
Okay.
Which is a really old album, but I love it. Front to back, cover to cover. And then, so I'm a Swiftie. Okay. But I'm not an album Swiftie.
All right. That's fine. I'm not here to judge.
I know.
This is your list. So anybody out there, this is her list. This is not yours. This is Suzanne's list.
This is my list. I know. So I absolutely love Taylor Swift, and I have a bunch of Taylor Swift songs that I love.
Okay.
But I don't have them like in in an order. And then Back in Black. Okay. Back in Black. And then what's Godsmack.
That's right.
Oh, see, but I have to continue my list, actually.
You can. It's no longer favorite 5s. It's just as many albums as you want to throw out there.
Okay, so Hell Yeah, Blood for Blood.
There we go. Great album.
That is also, I mean, from the beginning to the end. And Five Finger Death Punch, Got Your Six. Okay. I love that one. I know. Some people are like, that's not metal.
It's still rocking. It's still rocking. I mean, regardless of how you feel about the band, it's still a rocking album. I mean, I know it's not as metal as some of the early stuff, but hey, again, this is your list. That's what I tell people, like,
my list. That's what I love anyway.
Suzanne's list. What else do you have anything else on there?
That so those were the things that are kind of my like go-tos.
Okay.
I should I want to look at my phone and look at my playlist, because when we're driving, I'll have this happen with like the tour.
Yeah. What do you have on the road trip playlist? Yeah. What do you have on the road trip playlist?
My road trip playlist. So I'm usually driving, and I'm usually the one driving home. And sometimes like we did a show in Baltimore. So we're driving home till like 4 in the morning. And I will put on my little happy boppy. I have this like radio playlist that has like Taylor Swift and Pink and everything like that. But then the other one, in my top 5, Into the Wildlife by Hailstorm.
Okay.
That is another one. That should make it into the top 5. That's got to knock something out because that's one of my faves. And those are the things that I usually listen to on the way home, and I can sing the whole way and I'm like awake.
There you go. Hey, whatever keeps you awake. I've done some of those late night drives going from here where I'm from in Ohio, and it's like, all right, it's going to be loud, but I got to put the window down just a little bit. I got to crank the tunes up a little bit more, put the window down so I can stay awake. So I'm with you on that. So
yeah.
Again, Suzanne, we've got repeat on the Artist Spotlight Friday morning, 8:30 Central Time. Then new on Q, our new music show, is being added Saturday nights as well. So you guys are on the station back-to-back days, which is very, very cool and excited about. And if people want to follow, the band on social media, I know, again, you've got more singles on the way. You've got more shows you can announce on the way. Eventually, where can everybody do that? Where can everybody follow you?
Oh, everywhere. So Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, of course, YouTube, TikTok. What other social networks are there? We are on Twitter. I'm really bad at Twitter, and I haven't downloaded Threads because I'm like, man, I am slacking on this one. I don't think
I'm not on Threads either. I'm not doing Threads. No.
I know that's my rhyme line. I'm like, I'm not doing
our radio station has a TikTok. I haven't logged into it yet because I'm like, I probably should at some point just to go search for bands and find more bands, put on the Art Spotlight, things like that. But I'm like, it's down there in the list of things I got to get done. But again, website as well. If people want to buy merch from the band website as well, go ahead.
Yeah, magdillon.com.
Awesome. Very simple. So again, Suzanne, Friday morning, you're all on. Saturday night, you're all on as well. It's great to see you. It's great to catch up with you, and we'll talk with you soon.
Yes, great to see you. Thank you.